fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion, Tonto, the masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early days of the western United States. His strength and courage were always on the side of right against might. No man could match his daring and resourcefulness, and nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young and the Lone Ranger was fighting the greatest battle of his entire career. At an isolated camp in the wild and barren region along the Rio Grande, a band of 8 roughly dressed men were busily saddling their mounts. When they had finished, each man jumped to the saddle and urged his horse toward their leader, already mounted and waiting. This leader, a huge man with a bright shock of coarse red hair, had an air of grim resolution about him as he waited for his men to gather. Finally...
All set? And I'll tell you where we're going.
Got some cows spotted over on the JW range to run off, ain't you?
Yeah, hey. But that ain't where we're going this time.
No?
Beef can wait. If we ain't gonna have trouble, there's another job has to be took care of first.
What's that?
Graham.
You mean...
We're riding to his place and getting that hombre.
Well, I'd say it was just about time. Wondering how much longer we're going to let that gent meddle.
The boss tell you we should?
No.
But gosh, if you ain't had orders from him...
How can I when I ain't seen Stubb in over 2 weeks?
Stubb have to bring you your orders all the time, Red? Can't you ever go straight to the boss yourself?
You fool, you know I don't know who he is.
Don't you? Honest?
Think I've been lying to you?
Well, I'll tell you. Kind of had a notion you was just saying that to keep us from asking too many questions.
Well, you're
I weren't blaming you for it, Red. I figured it was just because you thought it was best.
Nobody knows who the big boss is, except Stubb.
Uh-huh.
If he's too doggone busy to worry about Graham, then it's up to us to do something without waiting for orders. I don't hanker to fool around till that polecat gets us jailed just 'cause the boss ain't got around to worrying about him yet.
We can't take the chance.
If they put up a fight at the ranch, let them have it. But remember this. I want Graham alive. And let's go. Get up. Get up, boy. Get up.
At Graham's ranch house, Arizona Lawson paced the floor uneasily while Graham looked on. At length, with Arizona's pacing getting on the rancher's nerves, he spoke sharply.
Arizona, stop it.
Huh?
Sit down for a while, can't you? You're driving me loco.
Just the same, Graham, I'm worried.
So you've said, and I've told you you're foolish.
Yeah? Well, ain't Gunner dead? And ain't Turk Rigby and half his gang under arrest by a United States Marshal waiting to hang?
They are.
And ain't it us in town that sent them there?
We did.
And what makes you think the rest of them outlaws won't try to get even? You think they'll just stand by while we get them one by one without doing something to stop us?
What are you afraid of? Expect to see them come riding here?
Well, why shouldn't they? What's to stop them? Right now, there ain't a man on the place, excepting you and me.
They don't know that.
How do you know they don't? What makes you so doggone sure?
I just feel that they don't.
And if they didn't know it, what makes you so certain they wouldn't come anyhow? Ain't they done the same afore when somebody stomped on their toes?
We're too close to town. If they attack, the sheriff could be here with the posse inside 15 minutes.
Sheriff. Posse. Talk sense. Since when did the sheriff or anybody else around these parts get up enough nerve to fight them crooks? Ain't that why you sent for the masked man in Tonto to help you? Well, ain't it?
Well,
And ain't that why we had to tote Turk and the others clear over to the marshal's office? Because we couldn't trust the sheriff to guard him right?
Yes, but now things are different.
Different? How do you mean?
Then these outlaws had everything their own way. Now we've shown the people around here they can be beaten. I've an idea you'll find they're getting their courage back.
If they have, I ain't seen nothing of it.
Well, just the same, I feel...
Wait a minute. Who's that?
Huh? You better look.
Well, I'll be Graham. If that ain't a tough-looking bunch of hombres, I never seen any. Who do you know it's got red hair, sticking straight up like they was on wires?
Red Kemp.
The rustler? One of them crooks we've been after?
It is. Arizona, get me that rifle. I'm going to...
Arizona, don't you move.
You
dirty
look.
Grim. Middle in our affairs, will you?
Get back.
Why, you...
And take it.
I'll get him.
No!
You murderers. You've killed him.
If we did, it's what he had coming.
He ain't dead, Red. Just creased him. Knocked him out.
And take him along. You can take him with you.
Yeah. Give me a hand with him, feller.
What do you want?
You and your pards have been making things hot for us, Grim.
What do you mean?
Well, now it's our turn. Walk ahead of me, Graham. We're taking a little ride into the hills.
Several hours later, Tonto, the Lone Ranger's faithful Indian companion, arrived at the ranch house and read the signs that told of Red Kemp's successful visit. Mounting Scout, he immediately headed for the hills along the Rio Grande. And that evening, on a rocky shelf where his work could be seen only by the occupants of a certain cave on the far side of the river, he built a glowing signal fire. He permitted the blaze to flame up for only a few brief minutes. Then, covering the fire with earth, he settled down to wait. An hour, 2 hours went by. Then, at first faint in the distance, he heard the approach of a single horseman. The hoofbeats came rapidly closer, and when at last the horseman reined up where Tonto stood, he was revealed as a padre who had long been the masked man's friend.
Oh there. Oh. Tonto, the masked man and I, we saw your signal. I came at once, amigo. Why have you sent for me? There is trouble, yes?
There heap trouble.
What is it?
Me tell you tell Lone Ranger.
See.
Then white friend tell Tonto what do.
You want the Lone Ranger's advice?
Ah.
Then tell me your problem. You shall have it.
When Tonto had told the padre of the affair at the ranch house, the latter mounted again and disappeared into the night. His destination was a cave where the Lone Ranger, who had been seriously wounded, was recovering under the padre's care. The sun was rising in the east when once more the padre joined Tonto.
Oh. I've spoken to the Lone Ranger, amigo, and he has told me what you must do.
That good.
You have said that you can follow the trail of these outlaws who have struck.
Me follow it.
That is good. But you are alone, and they are many. You must not attack without help.
How get help?
The Lone Ranger says that you must ride to Spanish Flats. There you will call upon the sheriff.
Him not help. Him afraid.
The Lone Ranger has thought of that also. If you will follow the masked man's plan exactly, the sheriff will help you in spite of himself.
What me do?
That I shall tell you, amigo. Listen.
In the meantime, miles to the west, but also within the wilderness region along the Rio Grande, Red Kemp and his followers had established a camp that served them as a hideout between raids. There Graham and Arizona Lawson, the latter with a bandage around his head where it had been cut with a bullet, were permitted to move around the camp at will, the outlaws realizing that their prisoners could not hope to escape afoot. Graham was depressed by his capture, but Arizona had not given up hope.
I was a blind fool, Arizona. I should have listened to you when you tried to warn me.
Oh, shucks, Graham. There ain't no use crying over spilt milk.
But look what's happened.
Likely would have happened anyhow. Not sooner than later.
I know, but just
And we
the
ain't
same...
done for yet, are we? As long as they let us keep on living, we always got a chance.
What was that you said, Arizona?
Spying on us, huh?
Now, what would I want to do that for, huh? Shucks, I just happened to be coming back from the spring and heard a little of what you were saying. Still figure there's hope for you, that right?
You ain't always going to have everything your own way.
Hey, what makes you think you got a chance?
Because we still got friends.
Yeah. One of them's a Lone Ranger, ain't he?
Well,
Shucks, he's done for, you know that? Or were you trying to run a bluff?
anyhow, there's Tonto.
Sure. That's what I've been figuring on.
Huh?
I mean to get him, too.
You think he's loco enough to let you get your hands on? You do, you're crazy. That redskin's smart.
Thinks a lot of his friends, though, don't he?
What do you mean by that, Red?
You fellas notice us taking any trouble to hide our trail coming here?
You mean you didn't on purpose?
Sure not. What's the Injun gonna do first thing after he finds out you fellas are gone?
Well, he'll no doubt go out.
Needn't be afraid you'll give something away. I'm way ahead of you. The Injun's gonna get in our trail.
And he'll be able to follow her, too. Tonto can read sign better than any Apache.
Uh-huh. Then he'll try to get you fellas free. But seeing as how that's just what we expect, we'll be waiting for him. Then we'll have the three of you.
Why, you don't let him scare you, Graham. It's him that's forgot something.
Have I?
You have, Red. You forgot that Tonto can bring the law along with him. You forgot that he don't have to come here alone. Well, what's so funny about that?
Golly, that's a good one.
Huh?
You tell him, Graham.
Arizona, he means the law won't dare come here.
But why...
You know that, Arizona. It's the very thing we were discussing yesterday before these fellows showed up. These outlaws have been too well organized. Led by this man who's kept his identity so well hidden, they've punished everyone who's tried to get in their way. The sheriff may pretend to make an effort to put them down, but his efforts aren't serious, and these men know it. No, Arizona, we can't look for any help from that direction.
Then you think these skunks have really got a chance to get Tonto?
I'm very much afraid they have.
Ah, they're dirty.
You'd better hope we have a chance, Arizona.
Huh?
'Cause that's the only reason we've kept you two gents alive.
If it had been possible for Red Kemp to be present in the office of the sheriff when Tonto called upon him, Red's confidence that the law would not attempt to molest him would have been amply justified.
Injun, you mean to say you can lead us to Red's hideout?
That's right. Here, map.
Huh? What's that?
It show how fine camp.
You drew that up?
Uh,
How do I know this ain't some kind of a trick? How do I know you ain't working with them crooks to get us over east there, while your pards try another of their cattle raids over to the west?
me tell truth.
It can be proved easy enough.
How that?
Well, I'm going to send Mitch there out to check up. Hear that, Mitch?
Uh-huh. I heard you.
Mitch is a right good man at trailing. I'm going to give him your map. If he comes back and says you're right, I'll make up a posse and we'll go after them skunks. But if he says you ain't, well, it's likely to go hard with you.
Me tell truth, all right.
And if you have, come back tomorrow.
Why wait?
Gotta give Mitch time for the job, don't we? Go on, vamoose. I give you all the time I can for now. Like I said, you come back tomorrow.
Me go.
Doggone it, Sheriff. What'd you mean by telling that redskin I knew how to read sign, huh?
You think I want to get mixed up with them crooks?
I don't savvy.
Oh, the Injun was telling it straight all right. I could see
Well,
it.
then why'd you tell
But
him?
tomorrow, you're going to bust in here and say the Injun was dead wrong. You're going to say Red's gang's in the other direction.
Why say anything?
You want the Injun to claim we wouldn't go after Red when we had the chance?
Oh.
Sirree. I'm playing it smart. I'll ride out with a posse, all right. But I'm making doggone sure we ride where them outlaws ain't.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. At noon the following day, a large posse was forming in front of the sheriff's office. The sheriff, looking on, addressed his companion in a voice too low to be overheard by the others.
Seen anything of that redskin yet, Mitch? Well, maybe he won't show up after all. But you know what to say if he does, don't you?
Sure.
Well, see that you don't forget. We have to make this look good. Hey, what's that?
Golly, it sounded to me like the engine. Yeah, there he is, just round in the feed store. This is sort of a dirty trick we're playing on him, Sheriff.
Think I don't know it?
Well, then why don't we just this once make a real try to...
You keep out of this.
But we can...
Ain't you seen what's happened to the others that made a real try for them crooks? How many of them are still living now?
Yeah, I know.
Then leave me handle this. I ain't doing it 'cause I like to. It's just a case of plain common sense.
Uh-huh.
Hi there, Injun.
Hi!
Where you been? We thought you weren't coming.
Oh, Scout. Oh, fella. Oh. Well, me get here.
And so when do you have the nerve? Fellers, this is the redskin I was telling you about. Grab him. He's under arrest.
Oh, no. Well, what matter?
As if you didn't know.
Me not know.
You was trying to trick us, that's what. Mitch went out and checked up just like I told him to do. That map you give him showed you trailed the Reds gang to the east, and Mitch found their trail going west.
That's not right.
Hold out your hands.
What you do?
That's what I'm doing, Injun. Now let's see you try to make a break for it with them cuffs on you.
You not go after Outlaw?
Sure we are.
And why you...
But we ain't going to waste our time like you'd have us doing. We're going where we know they'll be.
Ah, you loco.
Yeah? Well, we'll see how loco I am. You're coming along, and you're riding ahead of me. One move that looks funny, and I'll let you have it.
Me not try get way.
See that you don't. Ready, fellers? Then let's go. Get up.
Hi, Red.
Keep it a good watch, eh?
Sure.
Oh, fella. Whoa there. No sign of the engine, eh?
Nothing at all.
Well, you can quit standing guard and go on back to the camp. That engine ain't showing up.
Huh?
Pete didn't tell you when he rode by, eh?
Tell me what?
I sent Pete to Spanish Flats to keep a watch on things. The engine trailed us all right. But when he told the sheriff pretended he didn't believe him.
Well, I'll be switched.
And better yet, he put the redskin under arrest.
That's a good one.
Told the boys the sheriff was too scared to take any chances on meeting up with us, didn't they?
Shucks, I said the same thing.
Well, come on then.
Wait a second. I was just thinking. Only reason you wouldn't let us finish off Graham in Arizona was because you figured as long as they was alive, the Redskins come after them, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Well, if the Redskin's been arrested, he can't come here.
Sure, you're right.
Hadn't we better take care of them two gents then?
Maybe we had.
I'll go.
But you come on. We can decide what's best while we're riding back. Get up, fella.
Yeah.
Go, get up.
Get up.
All that afternoon, the posse led by the sheriff rode steadily in a southwest direction with Tonto just ahead of the lawman. Mitch had been riding in the rear with the others, but suddenly he spurred his horse forward and drew up beside the sheriff.
Get up, boy. Get up there. Get up, boy. Get up. Steady, fella. Steady.
Howdy, Mitch. What do you want?
I seen something.
Huh?
Tell the engine to ride up ahead a little further so as we can talk.
But what?
Now, go on. This is important.
Hey, Injun. Ride up ahead of us some more. We aim to do some talking you ain't to hear. But don't you go too far. I'll tell you when to stop. You follow orders.
Tonto, do it. Get him up, Scout.
That'll do. Hold it. Now, what's ailing you?
Sheriff, we're on somebody's trail.
You just noticed it?
Well, I just...
Shucks, we've been following this same trail for the past hour. I've been doing it on purpose.
You have?
Sure. We know Red and his men are in the other direction, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, then it stands to reason this trail here we're following couldn't have been made by them, so we can't be heading for trouble.
Oh.
Likely was made by some mixed sheep herders one time or other. Oh, ain't it?
Well, don't ask me. Told you I wasn't no good at reading signs.
Well, I figure it is. But it makes things look right. Long as we're following some trail, it ain't our fault if it turns out to be the wrong one, is it? How was we to know different till we traced it down?
Sheriff, I've got to hand it to you. I never thought of that at all.
Then you get back with the rest of the boys and quit your worrying. It ain't necessary.
Yeah. Back, fella.
All right, Redskin, you can come closer now. And don't forget, I've got this here gun trained on you every foot of the way.
Night had arrived. The outlaws had finished their evening meal about their several campfires, when finally Red rose to his feet and strolled slowly toward the two prisoners.
Well, how do you two gents feel?
What's it to you?
I just wondered. Didn't want you feeling too good, because if you was, the news I got for you wouldn't sit so well.
News? For us?
Seen me and the boys talking things over before we ate, didn't you?
Yes.
What were you skunks up to?
Just figuring the best thing to do with you fellas.
You said you were keeping us alive until you captured Tonto.
Uh-huh. But all that's been changed.
What do you mean, changed?
Tonto can't get here. He's had a run-in with the law.
You're making that up.
Yeah. Well, it don't matter much whether you believe me or not. But he did. The sheriff's arrested him.
What for?
For telling the truth.
What are you talking about?
Let it pass. What I've come to say is that being the case and the scheme I had for getting Tonto can't work, I don't see any more reason for letting you gents go on living.
You're going to finish us off?
Uh-huh. That's what we decided on.
Well, you dirty lord.
There's nothing to get excited about. Nothing you can do to stop it. It's what's been decided, so that's the way it'll have to be.
You'll pay for this, Red.
I don't reckon I will.
No? Well, just wait and see if you don't. Tonto will fix you somehow. He'll
Shut
get...
up.
You'll
Get moving.
Hey, what are you
doing? You too, Graham.
Oh, where are you taking
I
us?
told you.
No, Red, you can't. Wait now.
No. I say shut up, I mean it, Graham. Maybe you'll believe me. Get moving.
How are you going to do it, huh?
Ain't you the gents that set out to see me and my parts hung? Well, ain't you?
Oh, I wouldn't say
Well, you
that.
did. So we're giving you what you was set to give us if you could.
You're going to hang us?
Just right the first time. Well, here they are, fellas. Who wants to donate a rope?
I got one.
Well, you get yours, Slim. Use that tree there. Better take Graham first, huh?
Now, look, Red, you can't do that to him.
Reckon he'll give us the most fun. Then maybe Arizona will do a little hollering when he sees we mean business. What?
Listen.
Posses. Get your guns ready. If that's a posse, we'll let him have it.
At almost the same moment, the outlaws heard the approach of the posse. The lawman, topping a rise, stared down into a large hollow that contained the outlaws' campfires. The sheriff's astonishment was at first so great he could only stare. Then,
Sheriff, that's Red's camp. You hear me? You fool, you was following Red's trail all the time. Well, what'll we do?
Maybe we can get away without their knowing we was near. Maybe...
But how'll we explain? How can we...
Get him up, Scout! Get him up, brother!
Hey, the engine.
Hey, hold on there. Stop or I'll shoot.
He's riding straight for their camp.
Doggone him. I'll bet he knew all the time I wouldn't drill him, even if it made a break for it.
Now we can't back out. They're sure to know we're here.
You're telling me we're in for it. Fellas, there's the crooks we're after. Come on, let's ride them down. Get up
Sweeping down upon the startled outlaws, the posse rode with desperation and fought like so many wildcats. Tonto, in spite of the fact that he was handcuffed, rode straight for Red. And when the latter, in his haste, missed a point-blank shot, Tonto struck him down. The sheriff and Mitch, who had been unwilling to face the gang, led the posse into the thick of the battle and fought with the courage of brave men. If the numbers of the outlaws had been twice as great, they would have had to acknowledge defeat. Soon the air was loud with their shouts of surrender and...
Don't shoot! We give up! Round them all up, fellas! Blast down any that won't give up! Hi there, Graham! Get up, fellas! Get up! Whoa, boy, whoa.
Sheriff, I take everything back that I've ever said about you. I didn't think you'd have the nerve to come for us.
Didn't, huh? I just wish the rest of the gangs that's been working together in these parts was here. I'd get them, too.
Well, anyhow, you made a doggone good start.
Uh-huh. And I'll, excuse me a second, huh?
Why, sure.
Tonto, wait for me.
Me wait.
Come over here where it's kind of dark.
What matter?
First thing, I aim to take these cuffs off you. Tonto, you tell me something. I've just begun to get my eyes open. Did you make that map point the wrong way, knowing on account of it we'd go just opposite and find these crooks without even wanting to?
Me not say.
That's what I was hoping.
What you mean?
Tonto, you keep still about the truth of this, and I'll be your friend for the rest of my life.
Tonto do it.
Tonto, you're all right. And now I'll tell you something.
What that?
You tricked me, Tonto, but doggone if I ain't glad you did.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
You've been listening to the OTR Gold Network. Find more classic radio at otrgold.com.